Hi everyone, I'm Nigel Gordyke, one of the organisers for the Wilmot Terry Fox Run. I'm delighted to be speaking today with author Eric Walters. He's published over 100 books for children and young adults, and I believe he's also the first person I've interviewed who has received the Order of Canada. Hello, Eric.
Oh, it's good to be here. It's
Thank you so
funny,
much.
people ask me what my favorite book is, and I always say I like the one I'm working on, but maybe the most important one is Run, Telling Terry's Story.
You published your book Runnin in 2003, which was a unique way of drawing people into the story of the Marathon of Hope. It was a unique blend of fact and fiction. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the story and what inspired you to write it.
There's a picture right over your left shoulder that is actually what inspired me. I was in Ottawa with one of my soccer teams. I'm a soccer coach. And I was passing by Parliament Hill and I saw that very statue people could see. And I stood there for a while and I found myself in tears. I thought about a time when this country was younger, when I was younger, when this man was attempting the impossible to run across the country on one leg to raise money to fight cancer. And I actually thought to myself, why has no one ever written a novel about Terry? And I approached the family. I was talking to Daryl Fox and I submitted saying, I think there should be a novel about Terry Fox. And I got a very polite letter back saying, why would we fictionalize it when the real story is so important? I said, it is, but I think this would work and I'm going to explain why. And I wrote them a letter. And then Daryl got back to me and said, yeah, this is an interesting idea, but we're into raising money for cancer, not writing novels. And I said, well, I think we can do it together. Let me explain why not. I wrote him a letter. And another 6 or 7 weeks passed and he wrote back to me and said, you know, you're right. This could work, but why should we let you write it? We've had dozens and dozens of people approach us. And I said, let me convince you. I wrote him a letter. Well, 7 weeks later, he said, it's yours to do. That's the genesis of this story.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I would not have undertaken this without the permission of the Foxes. There's certain things that are, the word sacred may be the wrong word, but it's the best one I can come up with. There are certain things boundaries you just don't cross. And I think for what Terry and the Fox family has done, they deserve that degree of respect. Nothing about Terry should ever be accomplished or attempted without their permission.
I mean, the statue in the photo behind me was actually taken by my 15-year-old granddaughter when we visited Ottawa last year. And so that's one of the best photos I've actually seen of that statue.
Well, it's a spectacular picture. The way Parliament Hill is captured in the background, the lighting, that's really beautiful.
Yeah. I've actually received some questions for you from Region of Waterloo librarians. The township of Wilmot is within the Region of Waterloo. So I'd like to put some of those to you.
Fantastic.
Have you ever thought of writing a sequel to your book to see what Winston would be doing now and if his experience with the Marathon of Hope is still impacting his life?
I'd never thought of that until now. Perhaps that's something I'll give some thought to.
No. Could you tell us more about how you got involved with the Terry Fox Run and what messages do you have for young kids to encourage their community involvement?
When I was writing the book, I did a lot of research. I talked to all the family members. I saw every piece of video, every film that had been done. I read every book. I ran marathons in provinces where Terry ran marathons. What continually struck me is I knew how much I respected this person and the legacy of what he did, but the more you get to know about Terry, the more respect you have. This was virtually impossible. It's one of those things, if I created the Terry Fox as a fictional character and wrote him in a book, this book would not be publishable because it would not be believable. As I gained in respect being involved, and again, respect for the family and being able to tell this story and honor his memory and do it with such integrity, I felt I wanted to do more than just write a story. So I've been involved with the Terry Fox runs as a teacher, as a community person, but I decided I wanted to try something a little more. I approached the foundation. I was in continual contact with them and said, I have this plan. I would like every school in Canada to simultaneously run and do a Terry Fox run all at the same time. It seemed like a pretty big thing. And in hindsight, I've been told by members of the organization that they thought it was a pretty impossible sort of dream. My line, of course, was any organization founded on a one-legged man running across Canada how can you think anything is too big and too large a dream? We did a pilot project in the region of Peel with both the Peel Board of Education and the separate school board for Dufferin Peel. And we went from, my numbers are going to be a little off, but it was like there were 200 schools and we went up to every school, which was like 700. That was our pilot year. And the next year, and again, my numbers are a little bit hedgy. I think there were about 4,400 schools doing a Terry Fox run that year. The next year on that national day, we had over 10,000 schools simultaneously across the country from Newfoundland to BC doing a Terry Fox run. It was pretty amazing.
Well, I actually have some figures here. For 2019, if you take all the school runs from across Canada, they raised $13,358,000 for cancer research, which is astonishing. Between 2005 and 2019, Ontario's schools have raised $102 million, and that translates to like $200 million raised for cancer research across the whole country since the first National School Run Day. So that's
pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Be proud of that.
I feel very good, and I think we all have a personal connection. My mother died of colon cancer when I was 4 years of age. And back then, colon cancer was basically a death sentence. You got it, you died. Now with early detection and research, the cure rate is like 90%. I say to kids when I talk that there's virtually nobody sitting in that room who hasn't had their lives or the lives of their parents or loved ones saved because of Terry Fox. Imagine that impact. When you're in a room, there's nobody who hasn't had somebody they love saved because of Terry Fox. Wow. When I say that, it actually boggles my mind a little bit. So I think we do this because of Terry. We do this because of the mothers or fathers or children or aunts or uncles of people that we loved who were lost.
I mean, also for the people who were saved, like when we have the Terry Fox runs, we have the cancer survivors wearing the red shirts, which is a reminder of.
Yeah, all those lives have been saved by Terry. People's lives have been saved. We look at the people we've lost and the people that we haven't lost. Terry's responsible for that. The amazing changes in cancer survival rates and the amount of money that's been raised for the Terry Fox Foundation.
One of the things that we're sometimes, as run organisers in our community, my wife and I are sometimes asked to attend school events or events at libraries to talk about Terry and his legacy. And I personally find it a bit of a challenge speaking to younger people about cancer without scaring them. I mean, do you have any advice for how to talk about this type of topic, sort of life and death topics with younger audiences?
You obviously have to be fairly sensitive. I'm by training a teacher, but I also have a master's in social work. I'm a family therapist. I think that sometimes we believe we protect children by not talking about it. We don't protect them. We need to be honest. We need to be forthright. And certainly this isn't a secret. Young people know that people die of cancer. They've experienced that. We've got to be honest with them to help them understand the things that can cause this and the preventions that are available and the treatments. Being open and honest and having dialogue is important.
This year is going to be very different with Terry Fox Run, with all the lockdowns and COVID-19. How are you taking part in the Terry Fox Run this year?
It's so hard to predict what anything is going to happen at this particular time. That's my difficulty, is my ability to predict is almost non-existent. We could end up in a situation where the Terry Fox runs would be an ideal thing to do. An outdoor education, you can socially distance. It might be something that will be allowed and would be something I participate right in my local town here. There's a Terry Fox run, but we can't predict. What we have to know is that regardless of the format that this has to take, Terry talked about how we had to continue. And he certainly persevered through everything, and I think we've got to persevere. This will pass. And we can't allow this to interfere with the acts that we do for goodness and for kindness. Terry didn't let anything stop him. We need to find an appropriate way to honor his memory and to continue to raise money for cancer, whatever format that takes.
Completely true. Eric, thank you so much for everything you've done for the Terry Fox Foundation, and particularly for the school runs, for what you helped create. And thank you for spending time with us today. You're
very welcome. The entire thing has been nothing but an honor to be involved. As I said, we do this for Terry, we do this for the people that have passed, and we do this also for the people we want to save ever having to go through this. Thank you very much for taking the time. It's great talking to you.